It's no longer about these uplifting lyrics to help you rise above, but now it's about literally embodying everything that those circumstances has created. Everything that all these other rappers are trying to speak out against and are trying to use this music to elevate people away from. NWA is embodying on this more exaggerated scale the guns, the drugs, the violence, all the most negative aspects of the community. NWA comes in and it's giving life to these things, giving a new rush of energy to these things by literally embodying all of these elements. You know, they're coming in and saying that they are the problem. They are the ones that are carrying the guns, causing chaos in the community. And because this is who they are, you know, these hustlers, these bangers that just happen to rap, this was no longer just hip hop. This was gangsta rap. And, you know, this wasn't the first time that we had somebody portray a gangster on a record. You know, we had Schoolie D before this. And then right after him, we had Ice-T. But this was different. This was a group of people literally embodying the image. Up until this point, we had never had anything like this. And especially to be promoted and pushed out onto the mainstream on this level. And the whole thing was that the mainstream narrative was that nobody wanted to play NWA's music. Nobody wanted to distribute their albums. Basically, nobody in the mainstream wanted anything to do with NWA. But at the same time, there's all this mainstream coverage on the fact that nobody wants to support NWA, which is pushing NWA further and further into the mainstream. And all this coverage leads to this debate over the freedom of expression and, you know, censorship, which ultimately leads to the very first time that NWA makes it onto national television, where they are introduced to the world on Yo MTV Raps, and this gangster rap that apparently nobody wanted officially becomes mainstream.
Straight out of Compton.
They're straight out of Compton, California, the self-proclaimed world's most dangerous rap band. Certainly, NWA never thought they'd find themselves where they are, pop stars. NWA's sudden success brings with it a lot of controversy, like the fact that radio programmers all across the country can't find one single track to play that doesn't have explicit language, so they're just not playing it. The way they depict women as bitches on the album is not just upsetting to feminists. In fact, Rick Gillette, program director of WHYT in Detroit, says, quote, "If we were to air any cuts, they'd require substantial edits."
NWA's second album, entitled
Niggas for Life.
One Word, dominated many of the album's songs. You guessed it.
I'm a nigga, he's a nigga, she's a nigga, we some niggas, wouldn't you like to be a nigga too?
Now, if a white person walks up to Eazy-E and says, "Hey, nigger,"
Depends on how you said it. Like if you say, "What's up, nigga?" then that's cool. But if you just say, "Nigger," then I'm gonna take it different.
Got Eazy-E, MC Ren, Dr. Dre, TJ Yella. Could you explain like NWA and Eazy-E?
It's an all-star group. It's all of us. Me, Dre, Yella, Ren, Ice Cube. And mine is me, solo.
How close are you to real life to what your records are?
It's just as real as this gun. Look, see this chamber right there? This is no bullshit. It's a real gun.
9 millimeters in your ass.
9 millimeters.
Hollywood bullshit.
You gotta carry it easy, you get fucked up on the street. So you gotta be
And this got an
prepared.
infrared scope on it. You put the dot on your target, and you blow this shit out the motherfucker. No joke.
Okay, now, in your records, you know, obviously you guys must know a little bit of something of what you're talking about, because you couldn't do that. What is your background?
Everybody grew up in the street. Everybody know what's going on. Like some rappers like Mix-a-Lot and all of them and try to rap about shit out here. They can't do it because they wasn't around it, but we could do it because we was around it all.
Right. I've been through everything. I've been killings, robbery, murder, thieving, and everything. The whole 9 yards, dope dealing, everything. Everything you hear on our records is true.
Yeah, we figure you can't rap about nothing you don't know nothing about.
You know, it either happened or it could happen.
People have accused you of capitalising on the gang violence thing or glamorizing it, even profiteering from marketing this image of gang violence.
You know, a lot of rappers, they talking about, don't do this, you know, you guys don't have to steal and rob,
you might not get on the radio.
Yeah, or you know, y'all kids, man, be cool, don't do this, because don't sell drugs, and they living large, you know, they selling records.
You won't be joining the Stop the Violence movement or anything. No. What do you think of the Stop the Violence movement?
To each his own.
Yeah, somebody, you can be in a concert, they can be in a concert singing Stop the Violence with them while they doing it, but when they get outside, they're going to shoot somebody, so it don't make a difference.
They could do a drive-by.
I noticed Schoolie D has got the Stop the Violence logo on the back of his latest record.
I don't mean nothing. Somebody buy it, they still gonna probably shoot somebody.
Just think about it. Before NWA came out, there was nobody out there doing gangster rap. We're the inventors of gangster rap music.
When people listen to it, we want them to be real scared. I want everybody to be scared
Why do
of
you
it.
want them to be scared?
Because they supposed to fear NWA.
Cut.
You want them to be, okay, I'll be scared.
Cut.
They gonna be scared anyway when they hit.
Well, how'd you get the title? How'd you come up with the title?
Because we niggas. And as long as we remain to be alive, we'll always be niggas, and ain't nobody gonna change that.
You know, we're not role models.
Nah.
You know, we're not out to send any messages, anything like that. We do it to get paid. We make records to get paid. This is a job, you know. We got to keep eating.
Again, they are embodying everything that hip-hop was designed to push back against. And specifically, everything these even more conscious hip-hop artists are trying to elevate the masses away from. The lack of self-respect, the lack of wisdom that leads to the street mentality. These rappers were trying to pull people out of that state of mind. And NWA comes in and was glamorizing all of it, going against everything that hip-hop was built on and where it was clearly headed. And there's no doubt that they were coming in direct opposition to the conscious movement that had been building up in hip-hop, because they're calling out conscious hip-hop directly. And they're saying, we have no message. We aren't role models. We're doing this strictly for the money, to get paid. And we're just telling our truth, because everything we talk about in our records, we've lived it. The guns, the drugs, the robberies, the murders. This is our life, our reality. But then you go back and you look at what these guys were doing before NWA. And we know that Yella and Dr. Dre were both a part of the world-class Wrecking Crew, making all this fast-paced party music. And their whole thing was about love and romance. Literally, their first album was called Wrapped in Romance. And everything was built around this soft, romantic theme. You know, they were in these shiny sequence outfits with these really flamboyant and, you know, kind of ambiguous attitudes. And at the time, you know, they're really getting into these themes, into these characters. Dr. Dre really is the doctor with the full costume and, you know, everything. The stethoscope, the long, tight knitted robe to look like a doctor. These guys were in full character. They were on this 100% playful, we ain't here to hurt nobody type of vibe. During their performances, they're doing all these choreographed dance sequences. It's just all about having a good time. Nothing gangsta about these guys. And then we know Ice Cube and Dr. Dre hook up not too long after this. And Cube comes out looking pretty much just like another member of the world-class Wrecking Crew with that flamboyant, you know, kind of almost pretty boy style. Again, nothing gangsta about it. And along with Dr. Dre, they formed the group Crew in Action, or CIA. And after Ice Cube and Dr. Dre formed the CIA, it isn't too long after this that they hook back up with DJ Yella, and they bring in MC Ren and Eazy-E and officially form NWA. So the last thing before them forming this gangster rap group that gets pushed into the mainstream and basically ushers in gangster rap in the midst of all this conscious hip hop starting to form is them creating a group called the CIA. And they go on to portray these gangster roles but none of these guys had criminal backgrounds. You know, Eazy-E did drop out of high school, but he ended up going back and getting his GED. And then you got Lonzo Williams, who was with these guys during the world-class Wrecking Crew days, the CIA, and the early days of NWA. And he's saying that none of these guys were even close to what they were portraying on these records.
The one thing that I think was so different about NWA when they came out was it was like the first gangster rap group. And they rapped about gangster shit. People getting killed, gang banging, gang signs. From your point of view, knowing them since they were kids, working with Dre, working with Ice Cube, working with, you know, Eazy and so forth. Who were the gangsters in the group, if any?
Me.
You?
I was the only gangster. I don't know when they did the gangster shit around here. I had to. I ran a club on Avalon Segundo.
Okay.
And, you know, I was going to jail for possession of firearms and attempted murder and shit like that.
Oh.
These guys never had them kind of problems. Ice Cube was a great kid, just a nice kid.
So Ice Cube wasn't gangbanging at all?
No.
Was it a little weird hearing about all this gangbanging stuff from someone that doesn't gangbang at all?
Fucked me up.
Yeah?
The fuck, who? I'm like, you got to be bullshit.
Like songs like Gangster, like I thought Ice Cube was the most gangster motherfucker on the planet.
You know what?
I thought Ice Cube come in here and kill everybody. You know what I mean?
He's a great actor.
That's what it is?
He's a great actor. You know, and and I think probably one of my only problems I had with the whole NWA thing is that because hip hop is based on keeping it real, keeping it 100, most people don't vet the artists that they are idolizing. And they assume because you say it, you are it. When you have been doing this thing as long as I have and see the effects of it, okay, and you know the players in the game that really wasn't from it, so it's kind of hard for me, okay? When I first got into the club business, 1979. Now, first of all, gangs have been around forever in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Gangs had different reasons for existence. The ratio of gangbangers to civilians was minuscule in the early 70s and early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, okay? Right after NWA, now I've been in the club business all this time, and I stopped making records. Went back to my second career, which is nightclub owner. What happened was NWA and gangster rap made gangster lifestyle cool. So the ratio started to change. Everybody was a gangbanger. There used to be a time when there were places that you could go and you could feel safe. But when the gangster lifestyle became fashionable, the whole city became one big ass war zone.
And there was so many instances where it seemed like people in the industry were subliminally calling these guys out for not being who they were claiming to be.
What happened to ruthless niggas for life and all that? What's up? Yo, what's up? Ren, what's the deal?
Man, we hungry. Chicken, man. I want to eat some chicken.
You hungry too? Okay, now see, now we're talking. You fronting on me. Don't you ever front on me, Easy, all right, man?
KFC.
Let's do the deep what? Oh, okay, I understand. Yo, let's go to DOC video, man. Yo, Easy, get off my watch, man. You got that Rolex on. You don't see me trying to steal your watch, man. It's a deal, Easy. Yo, we back with NWA. They got the #1 pop album in the country. You know what I'm saying? Yo,
Said that 3 times.
I'm right.
I'm not going for that chicken, man.
No pop group, man. What's going on with Ruthless Records, man? What's the new stuff? What y'all working on? You know, what's going on? What's that, Easy? Come on, you're on TV. I ain't even gonna talk.
I'll tell you to talk to
Ray got a brand new group called Jimmy Z coming out.
Yeah, and?
I got a new group called Yomo Marky coming out.
Now, where do you find these brothers at?
Okay.
How the whole NWA thing get together, man?
Well, I don't know. A couple of them was breaking in my house, stealing cars on the streets, man, trash cans and stuff.
Yeah.
So I just picked them up.
So you just picked them up and felt sorry for them and just gave them a job and
he was stealing government cheese and it's free.
That's the truth. Is that the truth, Yella? You was already making Rick. Now, what I want to know, I've been dying to ask y'all this question. Hold it! How did you and Ray evolve from the world world-class wrecking crew. Into NWA. Don't you think I forgot about that? Don't be trying to hush me up right now. I remember them before you turn out the light records. Don't you, wait a minute.
What we're gonna do right now is go to the next video.
Trying to shut me
NWA
up.
100 miles
I remember that. Yeah,
and we'll talk about that later tomorrow. We're talking stay tuned with Dr. J taking vacation out in LA.
Trying to get
For 2 weeks we'll be out here.
I remember when you had a ruffled shirt on and Yellow used to dress like Prince. I remember that. Don't be trying to front on me. We're gonna be right back with NWA.
There it is. Let's go to this video. This is NWA. Hold on. Can I introduce this video? Yeah. Check it out. Ladies and gentlemen, this is 4 little kids with big suits on that don't fit them with fake Uzis in this video. This is NWA. These are whack videos. Just watch it anyway.
Like there's so much power in unity, and when I see brothers going through this, it's rough to watch, you know? Right. Because I respect you both as businessmen. I would like, well, let's talk about the business of gangster rap. A lot of people say that it's reached its peak.
I don't think so.
Really? You think it's going to go farther? Where is it going to go?
Over the top.
Uh-oh, Chris?
I mean, actually, the title gangster rap doesn't even really exist because real gangsters don't rap. Gangsters. So maybe, you know, I would go more into the idea of gangster record companies. If the real gangsters out here are the ones who own the gangster rapper on another level, I go more into business. Gangster's about business. It's like business rap. It's not even gangster rap. It's business raps. And if you want to get rid of gangster rap, first you got to get rid of the gangster record company. And I'll just cut it off right there.
Okay.
So, you know, if they weren't who they were claiming to be on these records, then you got to question why. And looking at where hip hop was going, you know, beyond just that positive, uplifting music and moving into something much more conscious, where the artists were literally using this music to try to wake up and stimulate the minds of the masses. And in the midst of all this, NWA comes in and goes against everything these rappers were trying to do. It just seems like they were purposely placed into that position to portray those negative stereotypes and to completely destroy where hip hop was going. And as this whole NWA thing is becoming mainstream, and, you know, gangster rap is also becoming mainstream, we also have the group 2 Live Crew that is also starting to push into the mainstream.